What's up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. If you ever wanted to get into real estate investing, but you don't necessarily have the money, but you've learned over time how to find deals, maybe through this channel or some other, but you want to start keeping these properties instead of wholesaling it, today I got a treat for you. I actually was just sitting here right before we started recording this video and literally raised the money that I need in order to buy a property that I got under contract this past Friday. Today is Wednesday. Okay. So if you can imagine getting a deal under contract from a seller, spending the money on marketing, making the calls, buying the softwares, getting the phone numbers, finally negotiating that perfect deal where the seller is allowing you to make payments over time, but you still need to raise money for the down payment and for the rehab. Here's how we're going to raise the money. Okay. Now in this video, I want to explain, number one, why you need to be raising private money versus hard money. Okay. Then I also want to explain to you why private money guys, should want to lend, and it's their best option to lend to you, the real estate deal finder. Okay. And then lastly, I'm going to give you a couple ways you can structure their money so that way it can work for them and for you the best way. What's up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action right here on YouTube and Instagram. Now, right here, we typically talk about real estate investing, how to make as much money as you want during a 30-day period of time while you cherry pick, which is my favorite thing to do, the very best deals for yourself. Now, as deal finders, all of the deals we come across might not necessarily be for you, but we can sell, we can assign, we can wholesale, and those are our easy 5, 10, 15, 20 grand quick checks. But after a while that you've been in the business and you come across these deals, you'll understand that it's easier for you as the deal finder to keep some of the properties that you find, especially when they're either a really amazing deals or creative deals. And that's typically my criteria. Whenever our deal finding company has an amazing deal, or a very creative deal, I do my very best to make sure that I raise the money for those properties and I keep them and implement the best exit strategy with the least amount of work that makes me the most amount of money. In a lot of cases, what I need in order to execute on those deals, for me to close on those myself, is money. Okay. Now, in this real estate realm of business, I think everybody knows that you don't have to be great at everything, but there's three big factors. There's time, there's money, and there's knowledge. Now, the coolest thing about business is you, the person, don't have to have all three of these. So if you don't have the money, you need to have time and you need to have some knowledge. If you have the money, then you need to meet someone who has those other pieces and bring them to the pie. Okay. Now, on top of having the knowledge, you're gonna have to be able to share what you know with someone else of why real estate is the best way for them to invest, and we're going to get to that. Inside of your deal flow, you're going to have leads that are good for you to buy as is and sell as is. You're going to have leads that are good for you to buy, fix up, and resell. And you're going to have deals that you need to just buy and hold. Okay, so those are the three different ways you'll be able to raise money to keep these deals. Now, depending on what your goal is, whether you want a portfolio of houses or whether you just want to flip or whether you just want to, to be the bank on some of these, will depend on how you raise the money. You can do this very easily. Once you have your deal, I want you to start reaching out to those same buyers that you would traditionally sell properties to. Instead of asking them to buy the properties from you, you might want to ask them to partner with you. This is one way to raise money. So instead of having them become a debt partner, meaning they have a mortgage and they get a guaranteed interest, they're going to be an equity partner. So essentially you all will own the property 50-50. They bring the money and you do the operations. See, this right here works for a lot of different people because time is time. Nobody gets more of it. And people that are successful, their problem is time. They don't have a lot of time. So in order for them to continue to expand their businesses, they have to find people who know what they're doing that have time. So if you can find an opportunity, right, Say, hey, look, I will do all of this work for you. You just bring the money. I have the opportunity. Let's do business together. That's number one way to raise money. Number two is debt. Okay. Now debt is cool because in real estate will typically pay for itself as long as you set up the debt the correct way. Okay. Now debt is also cool for real estate because typically what we're buying houses for, plus what it takes to fix them up, plus the interest that you go to pay your private money guy back is typically a lot less than what you could sell the property for or what it will appraise at. This is extremely beneficial because, of course, your private money guy benefits from you making money while he makes money. So it's like a, equal thing. Now, that also, is cool in this particular case because you get to keep 100% ownership. Unlike the partnership route, you essentially sell 50% of your ownership to your partner. But in this debt realm, you stay in 100% control. Now there's pros and cons to both, but just understand that each deal that you choose these things for will be different and you'll choose these things for different reasons. Okay. Now, when it comes to the debt on these particular opportunities, you need to think about how you're going to structure the debt. Will it be amortized, meaning will monthly payments go towards principal and interest? If so, for how long? Will it be interest only? Monthly payments are simply interest. So your balance never goes up. The interest that you pay to your private money guy, it's just, it's his return. Okay. Or will there be no payments because your plan is short term, like a fix and flip, and he'll just get all of his money at the end of the term? That's something that you'll have to craft up and pitch depending on your particular deal. Okay. Number three is a little myriad of both of those. I like the partnership and that. Why give somebody both? So if they can be a partner and get 50%, but they also could, just be a debt partner and get a guaranteed percent. Why give them both? Well, on my deal that I have, that I got yesterday is a seller financing opportunity. Okay. This means that the seller that's selling me the property doesn't have any debt on the property right now. They're willing to sell me the property and not collect the full $165,000. They're willing to just accept $15,000 now and monthly payments of $550. Keep in mind that this house is a 6-bedroom, 2-bath house in Lexington, North Carolina, right downtown. So for me being the deal finder, I know that group home operators love this, but I do need 15 grand for the down payment, about $1,500 for the closing costs, and probably another 15 grand just for some minor fix-up kind of things, just to make it nicer for the group home. Essentially I need about 35 grand. Your private lender might not necessarily, like to be behind the seller on a mortgage, a second mortgage. See, the first position mortgage is where the private money guys want to be because they're the only person. If you don't pay, oh well, it's their house, right? But if they're behind the seller on a second mortgage, they don't like that because it still leaves them in like a vulnerable place. They still have to, pay someone else before they're able to get their money back. Not necessarily the place they want to be. So in this particular case, I'm able to give up 50% ownership in order to get my partner, but also have them ride along with me, right? And become a debt partner with me because I already have a strategy to rent out this property to my group home. So those are the 3 different ways you can set this thing up. Now, why private money versus hard money, you say? Well, private money is simply an agreement between 2 individual peoples, essentially based off of a handshake. Okay. When you go for hard money, they typically have some kind of requirements. Are the requirements like less than a traditional loan? Absolutely. Absolutely. But they still want an appraisal. They still want you to bring 20%. They'll still have an origination fee, points on the front, points on the back. They'll still have all of these different kind of things, that can really hold up your deal, slow down your deal, or make it more difficult to close your opportunity. Private money allows you to make a private agreement. Okay. Now, the real big difference between private and hard is the hard money companies go directly for the private guys, put all the private guys' money inside of one bank account, and then add their fees on top of the guys' money that they lent. That's really the only difference. But as real deal finders, we can provide that same service, one person per deal, and keep them very happy with the returns. Now, private money is more flexible, like I said, so you'll be able to craft up your own terms that work best for each deal, right? So if it's a rental property, fix and flip property, you'll be able to do the numbers beforehand and let your partner know exactly what will work. Is 10% interest good? 12% interest good? Can you afford 14% in this particular deal? If yes, send those terms over. See, you kind of get to come up with your own scenario, and because you came up with it, they feel more comfortable with that. With hard money, this is the rate, this is the terms, take it or leave it. And seriously, some rehabs take 12 months, some take 7, some take 3. Why would I allow someone to give me a time frame if I know I can't meet that time frame? Second reason that private money is better than hard money. See, hard money is not a long-term financing strategy. Private money can be a long-term financing strategy. Okay, let me give you an example. So I just closed out, I guess it was about 2 months ago, I closed out a rental property. Okay, I was buying this property at $48,000. I figured the ARV was about 120, and I figured I was going to put about 20 grand in. So essentially I raised 70 grand. Okay. My investor who invested on that particular note had money in a 401k. Okay. So he was putting money in his retirement account. After he's putting this money in a retirement account, he now has about 300 grand, but it's taken him 20 years to get the 300 grand into his retirement account. So, he kind of did some math and asked Fidelity how much his money has been growing, and he came up with 5.25% annually. That's the return that he's been getting on his money annually over 12 years from the past 20 years. Now, for me, what I could afford to pay on that $70,000 note on this house that rents out for $1,100, I could afford to pay 11%. Okay, I could afford to pay 11%. So for him, that made sense for him to take money out of his 401k that's getting him 5% and invested it into this mortgage note, and he get paid 11%. Now, on top of just the better interest, this made sense because it was protected by a promissory note, deed of trust, and insurance. All of those monthly payments don't go to him. It goes back into his 401k, building up his 401k faster. You see, that long-term note, that long-term arrangement that we just set up, hard money cannot do that for you. If you choose to use hard money to buy your property and fix it up, you'll have to then bring in a second loan and refinance. What happens if your finances change? What happens if the market changes? What happens if it appraises low? All of these what ifs could come into place. So what if the tenant that you put in there pays 2 months on time, but the third month when you apply for your refinance, he doesn't pay? All of these what ifs could come up, but private money has the option to be flexible for you when it comes to the terms that you need for each particular deal. Third reason why private money over hard money is because you're building true relationships. Okay, everybody in the United States wants financial success. I need people to invest in our properties, and they need to make their money grow. At the end of the day, I'm gonna be able to do this over and over and over again, and they'll be able to make money over and over again from me. And so, some of my best guys, 3 in particular, have been investing with me since 2017. It's 2024 now. So we almost depend on each other. Mike and Kendall depend on me to find deals. I depend on them to lend me money. And then at the end of the day, I pay them back and we do it again. It's almost just like clockwork, and we start to live and breathe and plan, our finances around each other. So look, I want to encourage you to go out and learn how to find these real estate deals. Private money guys need you because once again, their money is stuck in the stock market right now. When it goes down, their money goes down. When it goes up, their money goes up. Some people don't want that. Some people don't want that variation. Some people want that tangible asset. They know that their 401k is in a property. It's backed by insurance. You know, they're receiving it monthly. You know, some people want that relationship. They don't want the government to be in control of it. And at the end of the day, when you learn how to find real estate deals and you learn how to, you know, come up with the proper exit strategies, rent, you know, fix and flip, selling as is, providing deals to the market, then you'll be able to exercise these opportunities. Now I will say this was a short little video about this, and I know I didn't hit all the points that you needed to know, and I'm pretty sure you got a few questions, but just check out the links below. I do have a private money course. If you're thinking about lending private money, I think you guys should check that out. If you guys are thinking about raising private money, you guys definitely should check that out, just so you can know the little ins and outs of how to protect yourself, how to figure out if it's a good deal for you or not, and how you guys can make money inside of real estate. Let's get it. Peace, y'all.